kitchen. I have decided that 2025 is the year of sourdough bread, and I know that I'm a little late to jumping on this train, but better late than never, and I figured I would take you along on the journey with me. I have already made my sourdough starter. I didn't really film this process because I didn't know if it was going to work out, if I was going to have to start over, what that whole thing would look like, but let me just fill you in on what you missed. I started out with some dark rye flour and I made a rye starter, which I then converted into a whole wheat starter, which is what you're going to use to make sourdough bread. So let me show you what she looks like now. This is her. She was freshly fed just about an hour ago, so she hasn't risen completely yet, but she is in such a good place. This is going to rise and form a lot of little bubbles and holes throughout it in the next few hours, and this Saturday I'm going to finally be able to bake with it. This has been a labor of love. It definitely takes some time and some patience because you can't use your starter for about 5 to 7 days, so this one is finally ready to be used. And if you're curious, this is the cookbook that I used for the sourdough starter recipe. It's Richard Hart bread. I am also watching a masterclass on sourdough bread baking right now. I'll put the chef's name on the screen, and from there, that's the recipe that I'm probably going to use to make my actual sourdough, and eventually I'll transition and use some more of the recipes from here. But I'm just such a visual person, so watching the chef do it on the video versus just reading the recipe is going to help me a little bit, at least for my very first loaf. Aside from the ingredients that you need, sourdough bread also requires quite a few tools to actually make it. So I made a few purchases and I figured I would just haul them with you first before we jump into the actual bread baking. If you watched my last video, you may have seen me pick up this Dutch oven from somebody on Facebook Marketplace. It's from the brand Lodge and it's brand new. I got it for 50 bucks when it retails for like 100, so that was a really good steal and a good find for me. I also ordered a few things online, the first one being this set of mixing bowls because I actually don't really have any in various sizes, so this is going to be a necessity regardless. So I have this small one. They're all such pretty floral patterns. I'm obsessed with them. The medium one, which is probably in my favorite color, and the large one, which you saw. I also picked up a rolling pin because I actually just didn't have one, and I also want to make homemade pasta, so this will be good for that too. I also got this set of 3 silicone measuring cups because it measures in milliliters and ounces, which will just be a little bit more accurate when it comes to the ingredients that I have to pour out. So this will be super helpful, and being silicone, it's just easier to pour into things. Next was a digital scale. Again, it's just super important to be super accurate with your measurements when it comes to baking of any kind. So this was another necessity. And then the last thing that I ordered from this online shop was this bread baking kit, which comes with 2 different dough scrapers, a like metal one and a rubber one. This proofing basket, which is where you let your dough rest and like rise in. And then I think this is called a lame, which is what you use to score your bread, which is the cuts that you make in it to put some kind of design into it. My biggest and most exciting purchase though was this KitchenAid stand mixer, and I actually bought this refurbished from the KitchenAid site, so it was almost like 50% off, which is such a steal and so worth it. This is honestly something that has been on my list to buy for a while because it's an investment, but it's one that you're going to use for so many years, and I just bake a lot in general, so this will be great for making cookies. You can make ice cream with it. You can buy additional attachments to like cut pasta and a bunch of other things, so I'm so excited to finally have one. It is Saturday and it's not even 9 a.m., but it is officially bread baking day. I am so excited. I want to have this sourdough with my dinner tonight, and this is going to be quite a bit of a process, so we're getting started now, and it'll take a few hours, and then hopefully it'll be ready by this afternoon. I'm going to start by pulling up the masterclass and measuring out all my ingredients so that they're ready before I begin making the dough. Okay, I laid out all the ingredients and the tools that I'll need, so it's time to get started. just kneaded my dough for the first time. Now I'm sticking it in a bowl and I'm gonna cover this up and I'm gonna let it rest and hopefully rise for about 45 minutes. Okay, I have to be honest, I definitely think I did something wrong. So I don't know how this is going to come out. I think I just didn't have enough of my starter, which is obviously such a big part of making your sourdough, but we'll see what happens anyway. I just lightly floured my surface and my hands. We're gonna take the dough out of here. It has risen, which is nice, but it's definitely a bit drier than I would like it to be. I'm gonna take that out. Yeah, it's pretty dry. Okay, the bread has been proofing for 2 hours now, so all that's left, I preheated the oven. I'm gonna bring the Dutch oven out. I had it preheated for 20 minutes. We're gonna plop the dough into there, score it, and then stick it in the oven to let it cook. This is the moment of truth. It feels very heavy, so I have a feeling it's going to be pretty dense, but we're gonna find out and see what it looks like now. Just cut myself a slice and had a little bit with butter. Taste is very, very good. It's definitely a bit dense, but that can be improved on, and I kind of had a feeling going into it because the dough was a bit drier, but it tastes amazing and it looks pretty good for my very first one, so I'm so happy.